Good morning. Good morning. Well, you're all dressed up for those girls at the dentist office this morning.
New hygienist, they said that my normal girl, she's not going to be available since I'm doing a fill-in appointment. So I'm going to get whoever they got. You never can tell.
Well, we got here and they asked Don basically 10 ways from Sunday if he was well. And then we realized that they moved his cleaning out until noon. It's going on 11, so we're gonna go do a couple other errands. First up is a transaction at the credit union. They have always had people come online with you, but their downtown Raleigh is where they're located. So you get a real person, but not in person.
Comes my girl. She's cat food shopping. Cat food shopping. Oops, I'm slipping. Pop the trunk. There she is.
The kitties are all taken care of. 96 cans of poultry platter.
Oh my God.
I won't have to go for over a month again. The next thing I'll be running out of is cat litter, but we've probably got a month's worth of cat litter at the house too, so.
Yep, she takes good care of her kitty cats. Trust me, when you believe in karma,
I will not have to worry.
when you come back, you want to come back as more kittens, kitties. Yeah, and girl, she takes care of her kitty cat.
All right, they've called Don inside for his appointment. Well, I thought about going into Home Depot and getting flowers, but you can't go into the garden center without waiting in this line and walking into the store. And there's a lot of people in that line. Well, Walmart does not have an appreciable line. I mean, there's a couple of people there, but the parking lot is absolutely packed, just packed. Yeah, I was pretty content to go into Home Depot where I would primarily just be outside at the garden center, but I really don't want to go into Walmart. Have to go out to the garden center, get what I want, and then go back through the regular checkout because nothing's open except for this one entrance here. So, yeah, I'll just do without. No Mother's Day or birthday flowers, at least not today. Hey, did you survive?
Yeah, it was fine. I don't. The only thing I actually touched was they gave me a pair of sunglasses because they have a really bright light.
Sure.
And of course the splatter. And I touched the chair that I actually sat in. They opened all the doors. I didn't touch anything else. So basically.
And they sterilized the sunglasses.
That's exactly right. And they were all suited up. They had the gowns on, and then they had the gloves on, and then they had a KN95 mask on. I noticed that. And then they had the little surgical blue mask over that mask. And then when that's when she was talking to me. So she had her KN mask on and then her surgical mask on as she talked, and she was wearing gloves the whole time. And then when she actually started cleaning, she put a full-blown face shield on. So,
well, you know they're closed if anyone at the office comes down with it. So it's in their best interest to do absolutely everything they can to keep it out of there because
it's like they're
just one sickness away from business at this location being closed.
Right. And I told her, I said, well, actually, since this morning was the first morning that they were doing this, they were only doing emergency and they didn't do that much, she said. You know, I don't know how, I was the only one back there, so my guess is they've done, like, there were 3 people in front of me. You know, by the time, you know, another month goes by, they will have done 40 or 50, you know, I don't know, a couple hundred people. So in other words, the place is sanitized and it's still clean because there just hadn't been that much activity.
Right, in 2 or 3 weeks, who knows? But today it should have been pretty.
If it was ever
lower
clean,
risk, lower risk than in 2 or 3 weeks.
And the last little tidbit I said is, you know, right now they were all being super careful. You know, here, well, let me open the door. Let me do, you know, like I said, I didn't touch anything. I put my hands in my pocket the whole time, except for when I was in the chair. Because there's just no way you can't touch the chair. Anyway, my point is you know, in a month they're going to get probably, you know, they should be professionals and really be adamant and all. But, you know, people kind of get a little more lax as time goes by. And then maybe if there's another, and I don't want another outbreak, but maybe if there's another outbreak or reoccurrence, that'll reinvigorate them. But, you know, it's human nature that after you do something, you know, for a month or two, you get a little bit more relaxed. I mean, we shouldn't, but that's the reality of things. So I think today was the absolute best and least the lowest risk day to have my teeth clean.
We're home. We're changed into our quote-unquote work clothes. And I told Don I wanted to use the small Ryobi weed trimmer. And the last time I turned it on, something wasn't right. You gotta love it when your wife comes and tells you something's just not right. And apparently we lost the little plastic cover, which the spool stays in without it.
Right.
And it got so gummed up that the spool couldn't spin properly.
Right.
That's why I have a husband that's an engineer, so I can go, hey, it ain't working right. You want me to weed eat? Fix the weed eater. Of course he didn't mind. I'm just making it funny.
If you got a wife that'll do lawn care for you, you need to make sure you enable that. You know,
you keep the equipment ready to go. That's right.
That's why you buy electric equipment, so you don't have to go crank it for her and all that other kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's a little bit of weed eating I want to do, and I do not want the Ego I kill everything in my path weed eater. I want the little Ryobi, I'm going to call it. For me, it's kind of girl style weed eater. Well, bottom line is we need a new reel, R-E-E-L cap, and it's $6, and there's 12 in the Fuquay store, and when we go back for more wood, we'll pick one up. So if I'm going to weed eat today, I'm going to have to use the bigger weed eater, the Ego one. And Don says it's a consumable part and it just wore out, and not to stress over it. So I'm going to listen to him. So Don's mission today is to finish the handrails for the steps.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I was headed to grab the other weed eater, but this guy had other ideas. He says, Mom, you had not attentioned me yet today. Basically no attention for the tux yet today. So I came over here and promised him a 5-minute rub down now and another 5 or 10 minute rub down later. And he has all these little round seed things all in his fur again, about 30 or 40 of them. So I've been taking them out a little bit at a time. Please, buddy, do not walk back wherever those things are. Please. How's it going?
It's going good. I'm machining, whatever you want to call it, fabricating the handrail.
Well, I think I did good with the weed eating, but my face is itchy and I took a lot of debris up into my face. So I'm going to go shower with some Dawn and try to not get... I did great as long as I don't end up with poison ivy.
That's right, we don't want poison ivy.
One of the places I did was in there. I'm not worried about poison ivy here. I can't quite take out over there by the daffodils yet. They need to die naturally. And then the other place I did was back up here in the woods. And that's where I'm a little bit more worried about poison ivy. But I'm like allergic to grass and everything. I must have sneezed on the way to take Dawn to the dentist this morning about 10 times in a row. People will think I've got you know what, even though it's allergies. Hi, Tux. I'm done with the noise, everything but the saw. But one of the places I did was up in here. There was all kind of stuff growing up in there, and you know, you just have to take my word for it that it's a lot better how it looks now than it looked before. I did all the way over to the garage, out about 40 feet. Well, that's a right fancy notch you've got in that piece of wood.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. This is my practice piece. It's this piece right here cut off. I made this a little long. This is still too long.
Right.
And so this is my test piece so I can get everything adjusted. I'm going to use a roundover bit and relieve these edges.
With the router.
With the router, that's right.
Which would be here. So Don's explaining that's how you'll hold it, or I'll hold it,
Right.
is like this, when you're grabbing a hold of it coming down. I like it. That's a nice job.
Yeah.
It's nice and smooth, and
Yeah.
some good spacing for even for my hand.
Yeah.
Don uninstalled the post and is rounding out the edges, plus he's got to cut them. So you went and got what fancy tool?
I got a bevel,
Which one is that?
this one. So I could do this angle.
Don says it's all about the angle to
Yeah.
cut at the top now.
Yes, that's correct. I got a, well, it is the angle, that's true. Absolutely true. But what it also is I want to get the, I want to cut the top at an angle because having it flat, the rain's going to fall on it. And if it's cut at an angle, which basically matches this angle, then that gives the water runoff. Not to mention it'll be
Pretty.
pretty, yeah, all that above. That's right.
Don decided it was either time to get on a step stool or set it down on the ground. So Don's marking the second angle based on the first angle.
Right. Yes. Because the posts are in different spots on the step, so I couldn't just measure. We're putting the final touches on this thing. So now I'm going to cut 2x6s to go right here, like this.
On all three.
All three, that's right. They're actually going to stick out a little bit because they form the rest of this. Remember, there's a little piece here that fills the gap between the end of this tread and the house. You know, it's only going to be like maybe at most 2 inches. So that gap, this 2x6 here will support obviously the step and that little trim piece that fills up the gap.
So did we get to where we wanted to today?
We're done with the steps. I mean, the final assembly will be done when we put them in place. But at this point, they're done. So tomorrow we get to play in the dirt.
What did you say?
We get to play in the dirt. We get to dig, dig, dig. We got to dig the footings and stuff for the platform.
Works for me.
Yes, of course it does.
When you're a good boy, you get gravy with your pork.
Amen.